関西空港駅
Hello, welcome to the R.E.P. or Charlie, I mean konnichiwa, Osaka, Japan, and we just arrived here just last night. Earlier ago, I was having a bit of a stressful episode because I was scrambling around in my room trying to find my passport, which was definitely not a situation I wanted to have happen. I was literally running around different parts of the room. I went down to the lobby trying to figure out where the heck to just go, retracing my steps from last night, and turns out I actually had it in my luggage when I exited on the couch. Because I don't know how that ended up happening, being there and why. We are heading into Namba, and then we're going to be getting our money exchange done there. So apparently this is where we are right now, and we have to take a turn up here. The currency exchange spot is actually over here. So I'm a little bit confused of why it was marked this way on maps. One thing I'll tell you about Osaka is that it's very interesting here. I've seen a lot of foreigners who are coming here for tourism, but I bet you there's some, foreigners who definitely probably also live here as well. It's definitely a different vibe here than compared to when you're in Seoul. Not to mention, my favorite thing about when coming to the streets of Osaka, and also when you see Seoul, is that the streets are usually very clean. But also, it's very nice when bathrooms are just about at every corner. We're right now just waiting to cross the streets, and at least the good news is the security officials who are guarding the street and also trying to maintain the flow of the lines here.
Turn right.
Must be right there. Where the heck is it? Could that be it over there? That must be it. It says
Namba Kagan CX チェンジ外貨両替駅外入佐賀間
Well, unfortunately, that was actually a bit of a kind of a minor fail. The man in the counter had told me that apparently they said that we're gonna have to go somewhere else. They have machine problems. So now that we just got the exchange done, I actually got a pretty good rate for the Japanese yen. As we are in the busy streets, and notice that this is a crosswalk that where everybody flows instead of only one way in and one way out. We're just gonna be heading over to the visitor center because that's something that I actually like to do. Now, this right here is the street where we just crossed, and notice how it's basically just a big white box where everyone just goes as soon as the traffic stops. So somehow it's on the inner side of the mall.
Namba 観光案内所
We got a lot of good information about what's to know. I don't really know what we're going to be doing right here in the beginning at this very moment. The maps would really mean towards that way, towards where the information center was. But then we turn around this way here, it's actually over on that side, that end over there. Luckily for me, since I also drive for work, I'm used to finding places. One other great thing that you gotta appreciate if you go to Korea or Japan, they have these right here, baggage lockers. So in case for those of you who are coming here, when you just arrive with your baggage, we finally found the restaurant. It was definitely a very complicated maze to get around here. I'm not used to multi-story malls, especially since what we're sitting in right now in Namba, it's about 10 stories. I would definitely recommend utilizing a map, but also don't be afraid to ask questions to the tourist information people because they're literally at every corner. And luckily, at least since this is another big time tourist foot traffic, at least I feel better when I see people carrying their luggage around instead of just people who just come here with just either one backpack or being empty-handed. You could just have the sense of who lives here and who's just traveling and just passing by as a tourist.
Ordro やご飯どころナンバス海洋店
I don't know how this line's gonna work, but luckily at least this line is moving pretty fast.
Now that I finally sat and I also have ordered, complicated situation when having to order from the kiosk because this is a very different scenario and very complicated unless if I were to live here for X amount of time to the point where I get used to everything. I mean, hey, it's just my first day being here.
Restaurant. It's time for us to head on out to the middle side of town. Literally only 10 or 15 minutes away to go to Dotonbori from here. Lots of people here, crowds. It's gonna probably be very noisy when we're heading inside. Be careful what you buy, and you probably definitely don't want to buy souvenirs, especially if you like bringing back magnets or other things of that nature. I also like to do that as well. It's definitely very nice to be out of that busy hallway with all the crowded people, and now we're on the streets where it's still busy, but at least we're not like sandwiched in with all these people. Here's away from actually entering Dotonbori. That was actually a different part of the area. Looks like we're about to enter into another busy market here. It's gonna be, it's like there's less people over here, but there'll be more down that way as we're gonna continue walking.
Round 1スタジアム千日前店。
Although I'm not really a big fan of crane games because I never really had good luck with them. But I'm getting entertained by this guy over here playing Dance Rush Stardom. Woo! This guy right here just knows how to dance. Come on, buddy. Almost there. You're almost there. Well, how long does this end for? Woo! Yay! Hey, that right there was just awesome. And I mean just very awesome to witness. Alright, so as we are still trying to fight our way through this market, and as we're just walking, apparently, as we said there, we're actually not far from it, Dotonbori. We got another one here, Amuse Factory. Okay, we are almost there now. Can you believe this? Oh, is this another world, or am I just dreaming here? Well, this is it. We finally made it into Dotonbori, and it is quite the ambience here. Luckily, since I don't really need my hearing protection, this is definitely the dream that I've been dreaming about for a long time. Definitely standing on it. This right here is the river walk. Not to mention all the sweet statues and also the big pictures that everyone's taking a picture of. I also had heard a rumor that apparently the river walk is supposed to be something educational. I'll tell you it's going to be a river walk tour. And then this is just probably another way of how this river will flow. I definitely do feel a bit more at ease, but I do want to come back out here in the nighttime because it's what you call nightlife experience. I don't know what will be entailed, but there you see it right there. There's a boat right there playing jazz music apparently. Better weather, at least today, to walk this area, walk around. Very, very crowded, so be ready for fighting crowds if you have to. What makes you feel better is at least seeing this river walk. The idea of hopping on a boat sounds really fun. Another good thing that I'm thankful for is just about every establishment here has everything written in not only Japanese and Chinese, but also Korean and English. So now that I'm back out again after some much needed rest, this time we're going to experience what it's like in the nighttime, but also really see how this nightlife works. Oh man, alright, now we're about to enter the real deal, where it's the hustle and bustle beginning right here. It's like New York here. Who here has been to New York? As this weather is still actually very reasonable, and believe it, it's actually still very warm. But also, I had a couple of agendas. One, I wanted to see the big camera store, and number two, I wanted to consider maybe revisiting the Dotonbori Bridge, and number three, possibly stop at an arcade. Finally, last but not least, number four, if I have the time, or if I'm really up for it, depending how I feel after this, possibly getting a massage. Around the crowd because it was getting very hectic in that area and a little bit intense. Oh, I see it. Right in front of me is the big camera store.
Big camera Namba 10.
Right, well, that was quite an experience in that store. I ended up being there for about at least a good couple of hours. They got pretty much like everything. Video games, home stuff, TVs, appliances. It's all over the charts, and I don't know how they do it, but it is like quite amazing. At least I made one purchase, which is actually an accessory piece, new handling system for my camera, so that way when I need to set it down, I don't have to grab a tripod. Instead, I can just use the legs that are inside. We're now going to be resuming course, and we're going to be heading down towards the Dotonbori Bridge. It shouldn't be like that far of a walk. it gets real. Oh, I think I might need my hearing protection after this. So I'm surprisingly not really like that bothered by the noise today. Really weird to me because I usually need it. Oh, here's where it is, but it's rerouting me. So I'm gonna have to keep straight because apparently it's actually straight ahead. Wow, this is like, reminds me a lot of my time when I was in New York and I saw Times Square. I mean, look at it. Down this pier of the Riverwalk, and we're gonna kind of walk through. It'll be very, very crowded because there's a lot of people there and just getting pictures, but also enjoying all of the side ambience here of what's around. It's a very popular zone. Oh, I just missed a step there. Holy crap. Oh man, look at this. I'm not really gonna go through this yet because I'm just gonna be caught in the way of other people's photography. We found a little downstairs tunnel here. Wow. Oh man. I think this might be the good time to probably get the hearing protection. Apparently there was a lot of history about this area. Really, everything is in Japanese. I guess I wouldn't want to hire a tour guide to walk me through all this because I wouldn't know anything here. That is actually where we were just at. But I wanted to reroute course, but also I was helping some people take their pictures for them. Everyone is here just taking their pictures. These are mostly couples, and I don't really want to be in the middle of their pictures.
グリコサイン
We're gonna now reroute course. In those moments, the lights are always on and the party will never end. Alright, here's where we are right now. We are about this far away. Definitely watch yourself, but also watch the prices because this is a tourist zone. And as they say, why to avoid tourist zones because of very expensive prices. Slightly almost there. Come on, let's get through this. Let's get through this. We can make it. Judging by the looks of this, I think we might have found it. I think this is the Hozenji Temple. And this is it right here. And then you can apparently leave an incense.
法禅寺
There's been a lot of history about Hozenji. Not sure what's really to know, but it's nice to see. Very, very nice to be in this kind of quiet and holy ground because just being away from the noise, and I can happily remove these. Oh my gosh, so nice to like just be away from all that typical noise where we were just at minutes ago. Unchanging and forever true. Beneath the Sakura, I vow to you. The promise of the Sakura will remain. After all that walking around has been basically concluded, I might try to consider going to get a massage, but right now it's 10:30 at night. My golly, I cannot believe. I wish I had left in the later time, but you know, I didn't want to leave like super early enough where I had to feel rushed. I wasn't like trying to run around. Okay, I need to go see there, I need to go see there, I need to go see there and there. Now I'm going to be heading back to my accommodation and maybe probably a massage place that's actually not far from my accommodation. Here in Osaka is actually relatively safe to still be out at night.
リラクゼーションベラビータベラビタ
Okay.
13 minutes? Oh, 13 minutes.
はい、これね。Okay.
The massage is over and we're now going to be heading back. Can't believe it's already real late. Apparently the woman thought that I had paid for a oil body massage, but I pointed out to her, and then she thought I was supposedly saying oil massage. I was like, no, I specifically said for shiatsu and foot massage. She realized what she had done, and she says, oh, I'm sorry. And then thankfully, at least I had made it clear to her that this is not why I paid for it. This is actually what it was. It worked out great, and I do feel better. I'm gonna be hopefully sleeping better tonight. Our first day and night in Osaka was definitely a rough time because of the travel. A lot of the people I did meet didn't always speak English, unless if you got lucky. When we first arrived at the train station after we left the airport, because there was a specific station that I had to get off. When we were trying to figure out the areas, and I was trying to also like wonder where the heck is everything, I also had to walk down like 2 or 3 flights of stairs carrying my luggage because this was an old building and I couldn't find an elevator. It was a little bit sucky, but then I had to just be like, okay, well, it's time to humble up and we just gotta just accept it, even though it sucks, because no one should have to take their luggage downstairs. Instead, they should go to an elevator. Once I finally made it to my stay, that's when it was getting a little bit more complicated. I was able to find it very easily with my phone on maps. Everything was run by kiosks and self-check-ins and outs. This is all just kind of independently run. The minute I saw that there was somebody who was doing some housework, which was basically housekeeping, I was like, oh, hey, hi, do you work here? Can we ask for some help because we don't know what to do. The check-in process was a little bit more complicated. Not only was it to check in and add to the stay was a little more complicated because it's not like a fancy hotel where there's hotel staff. It's all strictly coded and it's not like an easy way in and out. It felt like more of an apartment hotel. People do stay there, but it looks like more for local people who live there. Now exiting the area was much more complicated because it's not like you could just open the door or lock the door easily. It was a coded setup where you had to enter the same code. It's like, this is the code when you enter, but this is the code when you get out, and you also have to swipe like this or that. It was so frustrating. I was even trying to ask ChatGPT, how do we get out of this? Still couldn't figure it out. I had to mess with this door code at least a good couple to few times to figure out how do we get out of this. So that was definitely the rough side, but eventually I got used to it. Now the next day, when I wanted to go and see about, not only was almost feeling like as if I lost my passport was stressful, but once I finally found it, I was definitely feeling more relaxed and at ease. Went to the currency exchange, so I went to next door, and that place was actually really good. And not to mention the good rate I got. When I asked him, what documents do you need from me? I didn't need to present him ID, I didn't have to give him passport, nothing. But I did have to use Google Translate and just make it clear that I'd like to just do the exchange because I had both Korean won and US dollars. Now during the time when I was seeing Namba and Dotonbori, that was definitely another cool experience, especially at nighttime. I wanted to experience also Taito Station, but sadly I didn't have time, and plus I realized my camera and my phone, the battery life was getting to that low point, and I was like, uh-oh, time for me to return back. I actually experienced round 1, and I had to go like stories down in an elevator to go down to the actual arcade zone, because most of like middle ground where you saw outside, and then if you go up is all just different things, which I didn't really want to do. I had to go down the actual arcade side, and once I did, I made sure to ask, is it okay if I can record? And then I actually had to talk with somebody else. We had to just rely on Translate the whole time like this. Also, I spoke with the manager who was working at the time. I told him I wanted to try the Gundam game, and also I was being honest with him that yes, I have special needs, so I will need extra assistance. Walked me over to one of them, and he just walked me through, and even though he didn't speak English, but we were just relying on Translate. I'm playing the game, and then having to grab my phone every time of each and every step because I had never played before. The best moment though was their hospitality, because that's what mattered more than anything else. I couldn't help but just tell one of the employees who was kind of being the witness, but also who I had the interaction with when I asked him such and such. I just told him, hey, thank you so much. I just cannot thank you enough. Your hospitality and you being patient with me, because just my first night here and I'm just trying to get used to everything. And I left feeling so amazed, like wow, this was just beautiful hospitality that I never thought I was going to run into, but I happily did. Following later on in the nighttime, after I left the arcade, and I was definitely at a breaking point, when I went to go and see Taito Station and see what it was like. Good thing I just kind of reconned the area. I asked if it was okay I could record. They said I could, but the thing is, I couldn't just do it immediately. It was being shown a piece of paper where I had to fill out my information and say this is what I'm doing and this is the equipment I'm going to utilize. So after I saw how things work at Taito Station, then I said, okay, I just want to do it today, but I appreciate at least the news and also this is what's to know. So finally, after all said and done, then I was hurrying back to my accommodation
because I knew the way to go back. And here's the funny story. This is where my accommodation was, and right on the other side is where the massage place was. So I could literally just walk like a block or two and it's right there facing the busy streets. They were very polite and professional, although they didn't speak English. But again, it's fine because facing people with a language barrier is just bound to happen. I definitely wish I had paid for like the real deal massage, because when I was there, I was wearing a uniform. What I really wish I had experienced was oil massage. Literally like push into your joints or into your back with their hands and fingers, like, and I was kind of like, gosh, I kind of wish I went for the other, like the real deal. And I couldn't believe that it was already midnight. It's like, wow, I feel like such a risk taker. Like, what am I doing here? That was my first 36 hours in Osaka. I've been misread, underestimated, and left behind, but I stayed standing and I know who I am. I traveled not to escape, but to expand, to listen deeper than words, to walk into unfamiliar streets with my head high and my instincts sharp. I carry more than a passport, a story, forged in trials, betrayals, and second chances. Where others saw a tourist, I became a witness. Where I felt overlooked, I learned to observe with care. I do not film for approval. I film to remember, honor quiet moments, and document truth with dignity. I know how it feels to be misunderstood, treated like an outsider, even at home. But I kept going, showing up, heart intact, and boundaries firm. I blend in not to hide, but to respect. I move carefully, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. I pack light, but never forget what I've carried inside. Not all scars are visible, and not all journeys are on maps. I vow to be the kind of traveler who doesn't just take from the world, but leaves behind moments of peace, curiosity, and humble strength. I face each day as a mission, not for perfection, but to walk forward as someone who knows I've seen hell and I'm still standing. Wherever I go, I carry the light that saved me.